Okay, hello everybody. I guess you know who I am. Thank you, Juho, for the wonderful speech, but also thank you for bringing me here to Finland so I could come and talk to you about, I guess, nice. I guess the future of analog photography, or the past, the future, whatever that may be. Back in April this year, I wrote an article on the site. It was something I've been thinking about for a long time. And it was, I wrote an article about the future of compact cameras, to be precise. You see, I've been doing this job for a number of years. I've seen how film trends have come and go and changed. And, you know, when I started doing Japan Camera Hunter, there was a certain amount of pessimism amongst film photographers. People felt that film was dead, and that was the hashtag, you know, film is not dead, we've got to try and rescue film. And at first, I sort of swallowed this pill myself, you know, I believed, oh, we've got to save film, we've got to save film. And over the time, things have changed. You know, if you look at now, we've got Kodak releasing film, we've got Ferrania going to be bringing out more film, and plenty of other companies as well, myself included. Zorki, you know, bringing out. You've got all of these sort of new film stocks coming out. It's very exciting. Things are developing. Things are changing. I mean, Polaroid have just knocked things out of the park. So that is less of an issue. The market has changed. It's leveled out from what it was, say 10 to 15 years ago, when everybody started buying digital cameras and everybody dropped film. And now it's come back, and we're looking at to be a bit different. So we've got you know, a leveling out of the market where the people who were, you know, sort of getting into digital cameras, getting very excited about it, and now suddenly going, oh, well, you know, maybe I can have both. So we're not seeing, we're not going to see this film is dead. That's no longer a hashtag, no longer an issue. So it's no longer the time to be worrying about the film. As Juho said, you know, Ferrania, companies like this, they've got 50, even perhaps 100-year plans of what they want to be producing. Now we're looking at how the market's going to change. And that's going to be sort of the next few years. The market is going to change rapidly. It's never going to be as cheap as it was. And people should stop hoping for that, because that's not going to happen. It's never going to be as cheap as it was. What you're going to have is alternative processes. You're going to have more boutique sort of things. The way you can shoot film as an accompaniment to the other work that you do, something that complements the other things you do. The fact of the matter is, digital is really, really good for media, and it's faster. You know, so of course, media companies are going to use that. That's how it works. They want stuff right now. You know, they don't want it in a few days' time. They want it right now. I used to hear stories of guys doing the Super Bowl, and they would have to, you know, rock, paper, scissors, who goes into the toilet during halftime to develop the film to get it to the magazines in time. You don't have that issue anymore. So, yeah, the market's going to change, my point being. You've got now people who can make a choice to have analog as something that they want to do, something that they can do as one of their personal things. And now we have to start appealing to a new generation. We've got to start looking at people who've perhaps never shot film and have no frame of reference. And when I wrote that article in April, one of the things that's sort of a catalyst, something that got me into it, was I went out with my friend's kids, and I had one of my cameras with me, and I was shooting. And my friend's kid was, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. And he said, oh, can I have a go with your camera? And I was like, sure, here you go. Handed him the camera, and he presses, you know, shoots the picture, presses the shutter. And then he goes, where's the picture? And I said, what? And he said, where's the picture? There's no picture on the back. I said, no, there's no picture on the back. It's a film camera. And he was like, what's film? And I said, and his dad chipped in and said, like, how do I explain this? So in the old days, we put pictures onto a piece of, and the kid's face was like, what? What is this? You know, but my point is, they don't have any frame of reference for this. So you're looking at a generation that we have to appeal to, a new generation, and we have to make it accessible to them. If it's too complex, if it's too much faffing around, messing about, having to put stuff together, they don't want to do it. The attention spans have changed. You know, now we are in a generation where it's Instagram, where it's immediate access, where we get everything we want straight away. And film isn't that. And it's never going to be that. And that's what's wonderful about it. But you have to sell that as something. That's what's wonderful about it. And I think there's a certain amount of, perhaps, a feeling of being jaded now towards social media. Young people are getting woke, you know. They're realizing that not everything online is perhaps in their favor, and maybe I shouldn't be putting everything about my life online. Maybe everything shouldn't be immediate. Why must it be, right? So I think you've seen this in, and this is one thing, Japan. Japan is a market which is it's a bubble. It's not like the rest of the world. They still have a massive amount of film shooters, and film is still a really important part of the market there. But it is a sort of microcosm, and you can see what's popular. And things like Instax film and disposable cameras are still hugely popular. And Instax has become extremely popular because you can take those Instagram-style photos, but then not have them online. And you've got them without everybody seeing exactly what you're doing all the time. And that is a really appealing part for the young people. Why should my entire life be online? I grew up in a generation where my life wasn't online when I was a kid, and that was lovely. Also means I could probably be a politician because nobody saw what I was up to. But now they can't. Their entire life is online. If you're shooting analog, not every aspect of your life is online. And that's that separation, which is becoming an appealing point. And it's one point we need to sort of work on and show people this is what you can have. You can have a separation of your lifestyles where people don't know everything you're up to, and these personal moments are yours, you know? So, you know, in Japan we've had the boom of Instax and disposable cameras, and I think that's what you're going to be seeing more of in the rest of the world. Yes, people aren't going to put down their phones. They're not just going to, you know, get rid of their phones. They're going to see. I mean, it's an addiction. You can't put it down. But they're going to change the way they do things. They're going to take some parts of their life offline. So, you know, they're going to shoot film. Problem is, the problem is you've got this film. You've got film, great, plenty of film coming, more film coming, new filmmakers coming onto the market. As Juho said, cameras. Right, there's still millions of cameras out there. Fantastic, there's still millions, but they're getting old. There are people making new cameras. There are lots of interesting people making interesting cameras. You've got Intrepid, and you've got the Solarcan, and you've got Bellamy cameras, and people making cameras themselves. People who are trying to make new systems, new ideas, new things, right? But not all of that will work. Because not every one of those cameras is suitable for every photographer. And one, as Juha said, we've got to sort of consolidate. We have to put things together and give ourselves an idea of what the market is and how we can all work together and how we can all, keep cameras and how we can all make sure that people have something to shoot. And, one of the problems I noticed when I wrote the article in April was we are going to run out of compact cameras in about 5 years' time. 5 to 10 years' time, there's going to be none left because they'll all stop working, which is absolutely not optimal. It's going to be in a situation where we're going to be without a camera that is easy to use. Yeah, we can still have disposable cameras. Cool. We can still have Polaroid cameras. Polaroid has just released their one-step camera, one-step 2 or whatever, and that's done really, really well. And kudos to them for doing it. Kudos to them for bringing out that classic branding and making it something that's really appealing to young people, really easy to use. That's the point. It has to be easy to use if you want to bring new people into the fold, as it were, and make it sound like some kind of religion. Steve Jobs, anyone? So we're going to have to give them something. And this is where we've ended up. We've found ourselves with no easy to access cameras, or soon to be no easy to access cameras, something that people can get into shooting analog with. That's a big problem. We're going to find, if we don't have any compact cameras, if we don't have anything to shoot with, what makes it attractive for them to do so? I mean, yes, there will be some people who will go from Polaroid and things onto new processes, but it would be a much smaller channel. Whereas if we have something very easy to use, there'll be a much wider channel for people to move on to different forms of expression, large format cameras, pinhole cameras, all of this sort of thing. And so that's something I wanted to work on. And Juho dropped me a line and said, hey, we've kind of got the same ideas going on here. Perhaps you would like to work together on it, and talk about it, and do this live stream about it. So this live stream is about getting people to ask me questions, or ask us questions about how we can work together, how we can improve, what we think the market's going to be like. And how much time have we got? I've got like 10 minutes or so. Are you going to ask some questions, or? You have some questions already for me. When can I announce the drop the thing? Is that okay to? Yeah. So drop. I make it sound so mysterious. If perhaps, guys, you could bring up that picture. So yeah, in light of not having perhaps a compact camera, I guess. Well, I've been working on something, thinking about something, putting my head down with a few people who are very skilled and quite thoughtful. And, we've got some ideas of perhaps a compact camera that could come in the future, maybe, perhaps. Who knows? We're just working on some ideas right now, but it needs, this industry, this market, it needs people to do something, to be proactive, not just to wait for something to happen, because if you wait, it ain't going to happen, So pull your socks up and make it happen, And if we all work together to make it happen, we will have an industry for, I believe, our children's lifetimes as well. And that's the goal, to have something for our children and their children. Make sure you check out people like this. There's lots of grassroots people who are working really hard to bring something new. So yeah, and let's keep it going.